everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to do a funny little video that is non-jewelry but totally related to jewelry, because all of us that are crafters or jewelry artists, we kind of need the same tools, and I think it's fun to make beaded accessories for those. And what I need to do is make a gift for a friend, and I thought that I would film what I'm doing for her, and maybe you guys will get some ideas. And I don't say like, oh, don't ever make jewelry gifts for your friends who also make jewelry, because I love getting pieces that my friends have made, and I buy pieces. Like I just recently bought a Kendra Scott piece that I found that I really liked. So, you know, but it is nice to like make something that's non-jewelry. So that's what I'm going to do today. And you did kind of already see, if you saw this video, I have already started her gift. So I bought her a new pair of scissors for her either craft cart or tote bag. We are going to go to a bead society meeting. There's quite a few of us that we gather for jewelry making parties and we bead society meetings. So we all bring a tote bag with our supplies. So I got her a new pair of thread scissors, and I did this little loop. So it can either be like a scissor sachet that's just embellished, but if she wants to clip this on a carabiner on her tote bag or on the craft cart where she sits and works, you know, she has that pretty little loop. So there's that. And then I have some of my things out here. I love to buy these little jars, and I found the gold top ones on Amazon. The ones like this with the silver tops are pretty easy to find at like the dollar store, but I'll put a link for these. And there's some different heights, like there's I've found 3 different heights. There might be more, but I just love to decorate these jars for my craft cart. It makes your bead organization so lovely, and giving a gift is really sweet this way, because like this one, I just keep like an assortment of sequins in there for when I'm creating boho beads. I have my gold Lucerna bicones in this one. So this is my little set that I have done for myself, and the tall ones or the medium ones are perfect needle cases. So if your friend is a bead weaver, you could give her some fresh needles, or a big eye needle is perfect, and give her this beautiful little hand decorated jar. And if you want to give a bead gift, like instead of giving it in a plastic bag, decorate one of these beautiful little jars and fill it with her favorite beads. If she uses bicones in bead weaving, get her some, you know, Preciosa bicones and fill a jar. Or like, who doesn't need metallic, either gold or silver or copper delicas? So that's what I do with mine. And so I just put those out here. And I bought a little gift set of lip butter, and so I'm going to make a gift out of this as well. And so along with doing the gift for my friend, I was actually doing a few things for myself too. So these are one of my pairs of thread scissors, and I put a little lanyard on it, and just some of my favorite beads in my favorite colors, a little satin tassel. And the other thing is, let me move this dish out of the way. The other thing is, like, I was either at, I think this might be one of the craft stores. This might be from Michael's. If you're an American, you know about Michael's craft store, but even the dollar store or anywhere, this is a little retractable tape measure. And whoops, yeah, it's a really cool one because it's pretty, and then you pinch the center and it goes in. But it has a little loop here, but it also has a little space here on this that you could hang a charm or attach a lanyard. So I've kind of like played in my bead stash and just made a little charm on a ball head pin, and I have a couple of tassels out here. And just to show you how very simple this is. And if you have gifts to make, I'm sorry for the noise, I'm putting that aside. If you have gifts to make, you can pick up hand lotion or lip gloss or hand sanitizer, and we're going to punch a hole in this and embellish this and put a little lanyard on it. A new pair of thread scissors is absolutely such a delightful gift for crafting friends or friends who work in an office. It doesn't have to be thread scissors. You can get, you know, just fancy scissors. That makes a great gift. Really inexpensive little tassels and leftover beads can work great for it. So like, that's my little set of jars that I just pulled out. I use E6000 glue to get the jars started. And like on this one, I have stacked 3 different bead caps, and then a crystal, and then, you know, my loop. And I'll show you how I got this so that this is really secure, and I have a loop at the top for attaching. I've done this one already for my friend because they do need to set up and dry. So I have already done this one, and it is ready for whatever we want to add to it. And I have this one here. So like if you know your friends well, like I have one friend that loves silver and pretty much anything green. So I did a set for her already. And this other friend, she really loves gold, and like I'm doing her set in all the pastel candy colors. So you can make them all match, like if you want to do the exact same design on every jar and put the same embellishment and make a set of like, you know, 3 different sizes. You can do them all the same and then coordinate the same supplies for scissors and a tape measure. Or you can just do them kind of fun and random. So if you can see what I have out here for this set for my friend, and I don't know if I'll use everything, but I have, this is a Jessie James Beads boho bead. I know that she loves Jessie James beads. This is a lavender silk bead that I made. I did a video on turning hardware, nuts and bolts, ferros, ferrites, all kinds of things from the hardware store into really beautiful beads. So I made this one, and I'm going to give her that one so she'll have a one-of-a-kind bead. And then like some just like little glass birds. I did a video on these little guys here, and they're super duo, Jack and Jill, or little boy and girl, and my friend loved them. She really thought that was so sweet, and I don't know if she ever made any, but I'm going to give her you know, use these on her jars. And she has pliers. If she wants to take these off and make a bookmarker out of it or a necklace, she can. They'll be hers. She can do what she wants with them. So that's the cool thing about gifting things to our jewelry friends. So I do have a little bit of a plan for those. And I just have some things here. I found the cutest lanyards with a lobster claw clasp on them in a color assortment. They're 2 different sets. And I just have like some things out here, some crystals, some glass birds, some glass flowers, some dyed rondelles, some hematite gold spacers, just some things, some jump rings. This is a really cool little assortment of tassels that I found, and I'm going to modify them because I want to alternate my colors and decorate her jars, but I'm going to get rid of the pearl because it's bigger than or the same size as the pearl that I used for the little people. So let me just put everything in my hand here, and I'll just give you an idea. Like her color story is going to be all these pastel candy colors, so that way I could have fun and like really mix it up. And let me just reach over here, and this is going to her as well. So this is like, it's all pastel candy colors, and I'll choose a really pretty organza bag and some tissue paper, and you know, make this like a really like a little treasure bag for her. So that's what I'm doing for my friend. But before we do anything, since this has to have time to dry, we're going to go ahead and set up this jar first, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to just take a little piece, it can even be a scrap, of 20 gauge wire, and I want to get a little spiral in the end here, and it really just needs to be kind of chunky. It's never going to be seen again, so you don't really have to stress over how it looks, but basically we're just making an attachment to hold up our stack of decorative bead caps. So you know, just get like a little spiral in there, and then I'm just going to get it so the most important thing is that everything is centered for your jars, because you don't want to have like a lopsided you know, top to your jar. Why can I not talk today? So I'm just going to try to get this wire like coming straight across the center of that spiral. So I'll flatten it, and then it does need to act as kind of a head pin, so pull it straight up. Like I say, it's never going to be seen again, but you'll see why I'm fussing around with getting it right in the center of my spiral. I'll show you why. There we go. Because it's going to go on here like this, but under my stack of bead caps. So when you're doing this, you'll just be playing in your bead caps, and I found that like this was one that I had that pretty much covers the jar, but you know, it's not ornate enough. So I did this little stack, and so I'm going to put this through here with that stack. And then I had these enamel bead caps, and I'm mixing up the colors again. Like, I didn't do this one exactly the same, but look how pretty that little stack is. And then I'm gonna put a crystal on top of that. And I just want to kind of check before I go any further. Just want to kind of check and see how it's looking, and it looks great. So I'm going to let my stack of bead caps hang out over that little spiral that's never going to be seen again, and I'm going to come in here and do a wire wrapped loop. And so I'm doing this first because you don't want to pull on this too much. The E6000 glue is very strong and it bonds almost anything, but I don't like to put stress on it after it's glued. So I'm doing this first. So this is just a normal wire wrapped loop. And honestly, you could do a simple loop here if you wanted to, but I like the wrapping showing. It looks very artisan to me to see, you know, to see my wraps. I know that seems so funny to be wire wrapping bead caps, but I've done quite a few of these. It's a favorite project of mine. I love to do something besides jewelry with my skills and my tools and my supplies. And I just found that this works the best. So see how my bead caps are like a little bit offset. So you really want to get everything straight before you get your glue into play. So whatever that takes, just straighten up your loop, straighten up your bead caps. Okay, I think I'm ready for my glue. This is not as tight as I would have liked it, but it'll be okay once I get my glue on it. But you know, my loop looks good, so that's what I care about. So I'm going to put a pretty big dollop of E6000 glue right on the top of this jar. Pretty generous. I don't normally use this much glue for anything that I make, but for these, it's a good idea. And then I'm going to center my little stack here right on top of that dollop of glue, and just get everything straight. Make sure everything's straight. And it's a good idea to have a toothpick or some little scraps of wire to clean up if you made a mess with your glue like I just did. And just push things into place. Make sure that your little stack is centered on your lid. Okay, that one is ready to sit quietly and dry. This one I did a couple days ago. And then if you don't want to, you know, play with stacks, search for this one giant bead cap that looks like a pretty jar top, and you can be as simple as a tassel, or you can add more. And another idea that I had is if you wanted to do these decorative jars for a little boy or a little girl who were saving their baby teeth, or mothers or grandmothers who are saving lost teeth. These little guys are so cute. If it's a little boy, you can hang the little boy on there. If it's a little girl, you do, you know, the little pink ones. That's another really sweet use for these jars. I love that idea. So anyway, while that is drying, we're going to work on some of the embellishments that I have out here. And let me just clean up a little bit. So I wanted to show you my scissors and how simple. I just did a lanyard and just some of my favorite things: pink flowers, some pink crystals, a hot pink tassel. And for me, I have both. I have a craft cart where I hang things, and I also have a tote bag. So my little scissors can hang either way. And then I'll do this one next. Let me show you before I go on the lanyards that I found. They're so cute. This is one set, and they're all like candy striped, all the different colors. There's a soft blue, there's a dark cobalt blue, there's a lime green, a pink, a red, what else is in here? Yellow. It's just such a pretty assortment. And then I also found this really pretty assortment as well, and these are smaller. These have come with a lobster claw clasp, which you can take on or off. And also this is a split ring on this one. So things are very secure on a lanyard like that. And there's all colors: orange, yellow, pale pink, this rich purple. There's a black in here. Look, there's even a little black and red twist. So I found a couple of these and they were just so much prettier than the ones I'd seen in the store. So I'll link those for you if you're interested. But you honestly, you don't have to do a lanyard at all. You can really just use your bead stringing wire if you don't want to do a lanyard. But I thought they added color. And I also did a video on this, if you didn't see it. It's the same principle. This is my phone case. And I did like a lanyard with a wristlet and a boho bead and some little charms. And like I have this little cat holding a bell. And so I decorated. I feel like as a jewelry artist, everything in my life needs to be beaded and decorated and handmade. So I did a video on how simple this is, but this is basically the way you would make a bracelet, with a few exceptions because you're attaching to the lanyard, but it's essentially the same principle. So again, just thinking gifts, maybe that will give some of you an idea. So I am going to come to this guy here and decide what I'm doing. I could put my lanyard right through here and have, or I could do two things, you know, and you just loop it through like a lark's head knot. I could do that and add my embellishments on there, so when I pull my tape measure out, my dangles and things are on this side, or I can work with this little hole right here, and that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. Or I have these really pretty little tassels that match everything I was doing. I could add a tassel to each side, but I already did a little stack of beads here, and I'm just going to put a simple loop in here. I'm just going to put a bend in my wire and just put a simple loop in here. Close that really well. And I love to, isn't it fun to just make little charms and dangles, just playing with bead stacks and things. And I do have a bunch of jump rings that I made here out of the same 20 gauge wire, just because things dangle a lot better when you attach them with jump rings. So let's see. So I'm going to get a jump ring through this loop. And you know, when you're out shopping, even at the dollar store, or looking for little things, desk accessories, tape measures, anything like that, that has a loop or a place that you can attach a beaded lanyard or beaded loop, it makes such a lovely gift. They make great gifts for friends, hostess gifts, for teachers. Like, it's such a cool thing that we can do with our jewelry skills, supplies, and tools. So I have a little jump ring through there, and I can either attach this into that ring. Let me think for a second how, there's so many ways to do it. Let me think how I want to do this one. So I think I'm going to take a jump ring here, and I might need to get a larger jump ring, but let me see if this will fit through this little space in the tab. It does. Bella Cat, you cannot bring lizards in the house. And I'm going to attach this little lavender floofy right here. Just for, I need a smaller plier to get in there. That's so pretty. It's silly, but that makes me so happy. That little thing on my tape measure. And then to this side, I'm going to open up the split ring and add this tassel and this charm to this side. I am careful when I'm embellishing like work items that they're still functioning, you know, that you don't load them up so much with charms that you really can't use them anymore, but really just make them pretty. I'm kind of holding the split ring open while I slide on my charms. That is so pretty. It's just decorated and beaded and floofied. Is that a word, floofied? I just love it. And, you know, I love my own, I love my own set, my needle case and my little bead jars and my tape measure. And so my little set, I was really supposed to be focusing on my friend, but when I found those lanyards, I felt like I needed to do a little more decorating on my own personal things. So, okay, I'm gonna set these aside and let's do the little lip gloss for my friend. So I have a leather punch, or it's just a generic jewelry punch. I think you could use a small office hole punch as well. And I'm just gonna come to this serrated edge and put a hole in there. And to that, I'm going to open up a jump ring and add a jump ring. And it is ready for embellishment. So I know I wanted to give my friend one of my boho beads, and I made this little bird, and I have some other things here as well. Oh, I wanted this in there. So I think I'm going to use this little lanyard and leave this loop here for her to attach it to whatever she wants. And I'm going to make these into components. So this little bird is already made, and I'm going to make these beads into components with some 20 gauge wire and my one-step looper. And I'm just going to, you know, kind of make a little mini chain, or a mini purse charm. I'm just going to put a simple loop in there, and I'll start with this one. And if I want to, I can add more beads into it. That is so pretty. I love doing these, you know, and if you're ever stuck and you don't feel creative, you're blocked, you can just sit and make some little beaded components and do some of these little small projects, and they're really gratifying and just really sweet. So let's see how I want to connect these. And I think I am going to connect with jump rings. They just make things dangle a lot more. So even though they're simple loops, I think I am going to use jump rings just for the dangle factor. So I'll tell you guys a little bit more about this when I do my monthly recap, but I've spent another week at the hospital with my son, the entire week. We had 2 medical appointments on Tuesday, and we were at the second one, and they sent us directly to the emergency room, and they kept us for hours, and then they finally said they had to admit my son. And we only gotten home last night, so I haven't slept for an entire week because I sit in a chair and stay right beside him, and it was an issue with his heart, so it's frightening. But we both sort of feel like we have jet lag today, but the really bad kind, as my friend Dale said, jet lag without the trip to Italy. We just have the jet lag, but not the trip. So when I edit this, I'll see if I am speaking badly and, fumbling, because I feel like I am just from that. But I was really anxious to get back to my projects and my ideas. Okay, I'm going to pop this little bird on the top. And I have to say, you can also do tumbler or cup charms, and I see them everywhere. They're in everywhere where tech accessories are, but I noticed that they're very cheaply made. The commercially made ones are a lot of times done with plastic beads, and you know, just like not quality, but if you put in a handmade bead and you know, boho beads and crystals, you can put a little check glass in. It is just like such a wonderful gift. And also being able to personalize it, you can pull out some little initials. You know, if your friend loves tassels, you could do that, like whatever your friend loves. And you can also make these as elaborate as you want. Like I did 3 sections on this one, and what I'm going to do is put 2 jump rings at the top here. And then if she wants to take this off of the lip butter and put it on a hand lotion bottle or hand sanitizer, or if she wants to add another pair of scissors or a tool to this one, you know, she has the little handmade lanyard to do what she wants. But for my gift, I'm gonna give her this little lip product. I liked it, so I thought I'd share one with her. And I like the color. Like I tried, if I'm doing a product, I try to match up the color to what my color story is. And I'm going to do double jump rings here. So again, they'll be there for whatever she wants to attach this to. And if she wants to reconfigure it, she can do that too, because she is a jewelry designer. Whoa, that jump ring needs help. Just put them in there. And so this is like ready. This is ready to go. Look how sweet this one is. I really love that. And I get kind of elaborate with mine. I admit that I do, but I love making them. Okay, let's jump over to this jar because I know that it is dry. And so what I decided to do, this one has a blue enamel bead cap and this has a pink. And so I'm gonna put the little blue boy, and the blue one has a pink crystal, and I'm going to attach him here with a pink tassel. And then on the blue enamel cap, I'm going to put the little girl, and she's going to get a green crystal. Let's see, I'm just going to do everything in reverse. So my friend has Jack and Jill. She really liked these when I made them, and so I thought it would make a sweet little jar decoration. But on this one, I'm going to do the same thing with the jump rings. But before I do, I'm going to modify this because I did not care for this pearl here. So if I can just open it and straighten it and get the pearl off, I will. But you can always snip it as well and see if it will come off. Nope. Too many curves in it. Can always just snip it. And it's just a plastic pearl, which I don't care for that. I want it. I would put a real pearl if I was doing a pearl for a gift. And so I just need to get a simple loop in there, back in there. There it is, minus the pearl. And I'm going to modify this one as well. Okay, let's go ahead and attach the little boy. So I'm just going to put a jump ring through my wrapped loop, and I just attached this little component to the top of the little boy, and I'm going to attach him on there. And this one gets the pink, but I think I want to do another jump ring. Again, like I said, jump rings on these are just really nice. They make everything really dangle. And it's just so sweet when you take the lid off to get out the needle or whatever's in there. Get another jump ring for the floofy. Isn't that so sweet? I just love it. I love the little jingle. And I think I am going to put a fresh needle, couple of needles in here for her, just to suggest that she use one for a needle case. And then for this little girl over here, I'm going to take another piece of 20 gauge wire and my one-step looper and just put simple loops in and just make another component out of these elements here. Use my one-step looper as an extra hand, like to get my wire straight and everything. And I'm just going to reverse what I did here, put one of these little rondelles in purple, a hematite, I meant to say. Like I say, I'm sleep deprived. I did sleep last night. We got home from the hospital pretty late and I did sleep, but I feel like I've been on a really long trip. So that's all I'm doing, is making these like sweet little components. It's like a connector, really, just to connect my little people. Just get my simple loops in there. And I'll go ahead and tidy up those loops and work harden like I always do, because I know I'm going to add this with a jump ring. And let me see if this is secure enough. Oh, it's still... The E6000 takes about 30 minutes to set up, so I have to let that dry a little bit longer. Okay, I had to be patient for the glue on this jar to dry, so I sat here and cleaned up a little bit and played with what I made so far, and I'm just going to connect the little girl the same way that I did the little boy. And I already put a big eye needle in here for my friend, and I know she will use that, and she does a little bit of bead weaving. She's like me. She does a little bit of everything. So what I did on the other one is a jump ring and the alternate color of the flower, and then I'll do a second jump ring for the little girl and for the component. So I put the jump ring here and put it through the loop on the jar, and then I'll get another jump ring to connect the little girl to the component. It just makes everything dangle really nicely. And you could, you know, open the simple loops for sure and use them to connect, but like I said, I just really like the dangle of a jump ring. And if you're making this for a jewelry making friend, then, you know, if she wants to disconnect something and change it around, she'll be able to do that, but she has the gift idea. And I think I'm going to find a really pretty bead, a seed bead or something, and fill this tube up with seed beads. So these little jars, I mean, not tube, but jars, these are so great if you want to, you know, give beads to a friend. It's so pretty. And they get the beads, you know, it's so great. So if you have gifts to make, I hope this gave you some idea of some things that we can do that are not too expensive, but they are handmade and they come from us, from our heart. You know, adding in some handmade boho beads to a lanyard, a little bit of bead weaving. I will link the video where I did the little Jack and Jill, or the little boy and girl super duo people. If you want to make a couple of those, they work up really quickly. And, you know, check your dollar stores and your little sewing notion areas of the craft store and find sweet little accessories that are actually useful, that you can put pretty charms and tassels on. A new pair of scissors is such a great idea for any crafter, any person that has a desk, any person that's alive needs a pair of scissors. So that is such a nice gift, and I can't wait to give that to my friend, and mine will go back on my work cart behind me. And like, even make a little set of jars for yourself like I did. I have my needles in here, I have some of my favorite beads in here, and some gold delicas, and I enjoy my little tassels that way. So I thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody is having a great autumn, and as we go into the warmer season, oh my gosh, that's on my brain, the colder season, I hope everybody stays healthy and well, and I will see you guys in the next video.